These cars have come in for a lot of criticism over the years, but they're actually one of the best-selling British cars ever.
Truly a dream car. One of those dreams where you're completely naked in front of the entire school. An enthusiastic recovery driver eagerly stated that he'd driven all through the night and would be delivering my prize at the break of dawn. He even proudly proclaimed that he'd managed to retrieve most of the pieces that had fallen off the vehicle, pieces such as both of the headlights.
Oh, look at this, Thomas! Wow.
But you see, what we have here in terms of ambition and structural integrity is a delicately prepared pavlova, topped with a fully carved Halloween pumpkin.
Floorboards.
It's genuine tongue and groove.
Oh yeah, I've been 88 in these, no problem.
Perfecting the recipe whilst utilising the galley kitchen of a no longer seafaring boat, now residing on a piece of wasteland, is the perfect analogy for the type of vehicle you can create whilst working in a field. The components used to lovingly craft this creation was similarly found just lying around. Hastily installed wooden bulkhead, for example, still bears the marks where it was previously used as a board for mixing cement. Please don't mistake this for buyer's remorse. I certainly would be experiencing that if I paid even £20 for it, let alone the £20,000 price tag.
It's fully MOT'd, no problem.
Creator of the car helpfully sent the gifts of a crocheted flying pig and a DMC badge, which I was about to discover stood for Deadly Motor Car.
It can be exported worldwide, no problem.
Beneath the hastily applied field paintwork, this car hid a deadly secret.
I don't think it's floorboards, I think it's a shed.
The Reliant Kitten is a body-on-chassis construction car. It basically means that the body shell can be lifted off a steel frame and that steel frame carries things like the engine and the brakes. This particular kitten had spent around 30 years outside in a soggy field. In terms of places to keep a car, this is essentially only marginally better than leaving it in the sea. The chassis, as you can see, had suffered from rust. Easy enough to repair, but in order to weld it, the very flammable fiberglass body shell has to be removed. This is where things began to fall apart. Not just with the vehicle, but with the creator of the vehicle itself too. Safe to say, if you see me selling this car, it's my home address and my personal mobile number, but it is not me advertising it. It would seem I've joined a long line of others who've received similar treatment. We'll come back to that in a moment. It is genuinely dark and frightening. For that, let me give you a complete tour of all of the safety features built into this very unique vehicle. In the apparently quite likely eventuality that you run headlong into something solid, the very last thing that you want is the steering column coming through the dashboard and ruining your t-shirt print and rib cage. For this reason, the steering knuckle is designed to come apart when subject to enough force. Unfortunately, that steering knuckle is the only structural element holding the body to the chassis forward of the rear axle. Hit a speed bump or even a pothole hard enough and you will lose all directional control. But don't worry, if that seems bad, things are about to get a whole lot worse. When engineers design cars, they create something called a safety cell. Basically, a ring of steel around you and your passengers, so the part of the car that you sit in is the strongest component. With the Kitten, this is a steel structure bolted to the chassis and bonded into the fiberglass body shell. Unfortunately, corrosion has really taken its toll on this particular example. Combine this with some truly atrocious welding that had been done to attach the gull wing doors, and you have seatbelts attached to steel that will detach itself from the body shell of the car in the event of an accident. This may sound alarming, but in a rear end shunt, this may be a blessing in disguise. Remember that heavy bulkhead just behind your skull? Well, that isn't attached either. Not to the rotten steel frame, not to the floor, and not to the ceiling. Two fairly long self-tappers have been sent through the fiberglass B-post, but both of them missed their target. Perhaps the most disturbing discovery is that all of the modifications done to this car weren't encumbered by such nonsense as screws, bolts or rivets. The attractive flying buttresses, wood, covered with only non-structural filler and paint. The Rialto nose conversion, held in place with one hand and filled over with the other. Imagine reversing out of a car parking space and accidentally clipping a bollard, and the next thing you know, the entire front end of your car is lying on the ground. And this aged scorpion has another sting in the tail too. My body and paint guru was here helping. She lifted the passenger door, and the next thing I knew, she's handing me a large piece of glass. Oh, this bit fell off. Yeah, class. So would I recommend buying a car from this lunatic? No, not at all. Unless, of course, you want your next of kin to be filing a corporate manslaughter lawsuit against him. I think describing it as a shed is being unkind to sheds. This in of itself is an embarrassment, but I think the creator of this car is actually quite dangerous. The monumental stupidity of this man is only rivalled by his complete lack of respect for everything and everyone. You remember that list of individuals that he'd left in his wake? Well, this joke of a man has absolutely no qualms about sending his bile and hatred out onto the internet from that land-based shipwreck that he now calls home. You may well wonder why I ever agreed to the idea of building someone else's dream for free.
To own a DeLorean, and not the classic one.
Well, you see, the story that I was told was that this man's marriage was in trouble. The loss of the court case, fleeing the UK, the overseas arrests, the detention in an overseas immigration centre, the fact that all of these antics have been broadcast on social media, and tensions in the family home. The mistake I made was to sympathise. I told him that if I'd lived closer, I would have helped him finish the car. He subsequently told me that she'd packed all of his belongings and wanted him out of the house, demanding that he either get rid of the car or find somewhere else to live. Now, I cannot verify the timeline on this. Others have told me that he was already living in his landboat long before this episode. His wife allegedly not even happy for him to see his own children. I cannot attest to any of this, but I can confirm that I was beset by calls and messages, one even helpfully stating that they had a transporter ready and that they had my home address in their sat-nav to come and collect the car. It transpires that this human-powered misinformation machine had taken it on myself to write classified adverts for the car which he had sent me, publishing my personal mobile number and my home address without my permission. It seems he has form for this kind of behaviour, previously publishing the details of a fellow creator's own mother, another creator's teenage sister, along with creating fake websites and social media profiles, using stolen digital artwork and the corporate logos of various organisations, and all of this to advertise his deadly motor cars. Make no mistake, this man is a menace and the vehicles are dangerous. He has recently been telling people that the car was fine, it didn't need the body removed, and it could have been put on the road straight away, no problem. For the safety of pedestrians, other road users, passengers and indeed drivers, I have taken the only logical action and allowed this creation its very own trial by fire. We've created our own little gift for you at the end of this short film. May it permeate through the speakers of every karaoke tavern in this fine land. My parting advice, when dealing with this man, do not engage. Run. Run like hell.
It's Ty DeLorean, living wild and free on a boat in a field just as you see. Fiberglass strings with three-wheel spin, ugly cars that ain't no win. It takes us all day with a wrench in hand, got a crazy plan no one understands. Pieces fall off when you touch the door, these ain't the rides you're looking for. Three-wheel wonders falling apart, piece by piece just like his heart. Runaway dreams on a makeshift sail, Ty DeLorean's endless fill. Field of dreams with cracking ground, yards of wreckage all around. But Ty keeps rolling, never say die, though the wheels shake, can't deny. In the moonlight, he smiles wide with the fiberglass car by his side. He knows that junk but won't let go, in his eyes they really glow. Three-wheel wonders falling apart, piece by piece just like his heart. Runaway dreams on a makeshift sail, Ty DeLorean's endless fill. Wonders falling apart, piece by piece just like his heart. Runaway dreams on a makeshift sail, Ty DeLorean.